I don't think I told anyone I was going to be here, except maybe like I told Anushka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so-
yeah.
Lush Queen.
I told her like probably nobody knows my screen names, except maybe you.
You got it. You got it. I see
And,
you.
and she's like, oh yeah, but you got to meet Emily. She's a sweetheart. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Oh, that's nice.
See, she
Wait,
talked to you.
Oh, yeah. Wait, where are you from?
Boston.
Oh, wow, okay. Welcome to Charlotte.
Yeah.
I would say hopefully you can enjoy the better weather, but it's not really better this weekend.
I mean, it might be better than Boston. Boston's cold.
Oh yeah. Well, that's part of the reason I came down here.
Well, sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
You still got snow and.
I was hoping it was going to be warm, but it's warmer than Boston anyway. So I was like, yeah.
You still walk outside and it's.
Oh, shoot.
How are you doing in the tournament?
Hit and miss basically. I got 1 point out of 3 so far. I was like,
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. What's this shirt say? This chest shirt.
I'm not as good in the morning
Look at
rounds.
this shirt.
Not as
Very
good in the morning
elaborate.
rounds.
Things I do in my spare time: play chess, watch chess,
Oh.
research chess, talk about chess,
Also-
think about chess, and
The
about that.
video is live, guys, just so make sure you don't say anything you wouldn't want other people to hear.
sorry.
No,
I stopped.
bleep. I'm not going to dox my my streamer friend then.
You see this shirt? Look at that. I've never seen a chess shirt like that. It's like a comic.
Yeah.
I like it.
Dreaming about chess is the worst.
Actually, I agree. It's kind of
That's why I
fun.
woke up before this morning.
So Tony gets my Twitch username, but he cheated. So I was like,
Oh.
Because you told him, apparently.
Oh, yeah. No, because I had seen you in Jay Dizzy's chat. She messaged, she saw the reel. And I'm like, wait, you know this guy? It's like, yeah. Oh my god. And he saw the chat. So he cheated.
you had that conversation today? Or?
I see you guys after.
I guess it's a mix of last night and this morning.
I'll try.
Yeah. No, I was surprised to meet you. Nice to meet you. How's the tournament going so far?
I lost both morning
What?
rounds.
Yeah, load up. It's nice and cold.
Oh, so you're not a morning.
In the playoff.
Okay. So that means this next game is still time to shine.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's like
I have to
I came here partly, for the weather, but also because I'm here eventually. Now it's going to
Eventually, it can only go up, right?
Yeah, but right now I'm on the still K factor of 4 days, so it's critical.
No, the lovely thing about being just means one
I tried to have some chocolate. It's like super old. Like, not good.
Yeah, eventually, I mean, it's like I deserve a high enough rating.
Hi, Joe.
No, one of the hardest things K Factor, especially is one of the last few years. I played 3 tournaments and I gained 1 rating in one, 3 rating in one. And then I played a tournament of Fish. And okay, passed all the rating I gained 1 rating. I'm like, well, that was pretty weekend's worth of effort, but okay.
People watch her.
I expect the announcements to start somewhere. Everyone needs like 5 minutes.
I got it.
Tony, how many points do you have?
2.
Emily, how do you do in the last game?
The last game was rough. It was like a draw the whole time, and I just made one little inaccuracy in the end game, and it was like +1 for her, and then she just capitalized on it, and I lost. So yeah, but I mean, I feel like I played pretty well, so I can't beat myself up on it. But she had like a perfect game when I looked at it.
When I
So
was young, there was a song called Twist. We ain't back.
No, yeah. I mean, I guess. We'll see. We'll see how this game goes. This might be the last one. No, just kidding. Well, good luck.
All your friends are depending on this game. Okay.
They are.
What?
Hi. How are you? I'm good. Are you Isaac? Nice to meet you.
I drew. You might need a drink or something.
No, not this bear people.
No, I'm.
6 last round.
Is that not him?
Oh, wait, no, no.
Is that leg?
Under the table or in a bag. Change them up in your pocket, get them up on the table, under your chair, or in a bag.
Are you, what section are you in?
Okay,
Yeah.
those of you coming from the
Yeah, yeah.
schedule,
Yeah.
time control is a little
I
bit
know, I'm not that
longer.
good.
Championship section is getting 110 minutes for the 10-second increment. Under section are getting 100 minutes. That's 1 hour and 40 minutes per player with a 10-second increment. Tonight, there's a blitz tournament. It will be in this room. All you need to do is register at the registration desk right here. It is free for all tournament participants. There is a $1,000 prize fund. You will need to do that after your game is finished and by 8:30, and that will start at 8:45. The next round is at 10 o'clock tomorrow. If you are not going to play that round, and you're scheduled to, we would need to know by 8:45. So that's 75 minutes before that round. Good luck. Please start white clock.
All right, and we are underway. Hello, everyone. How's it going? We've got the moves coming in. Emily with D4. This is round 4. Emily is 2 out of 3 right now. And looks like she's going to go back to her Joe Bava London. Bishop to F4 incoming. Perhaps, but we'll see. Maybe she'll think about it a little bit. But yeah, happy Sunday to everyone. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us. She doesn't go Bishop F4. She goes E4. She's been granted the opportunity to create a pawn duo in the center. And so she takes that opportunity because Black did not put a pawn in the center. So they opted for G6, allowing them to fianchetto their bishop. So Emily can now play both E4 and D4, and the bishop doesn't go to F4. So no Joe Bava this time. We have bishop to G5. Hello to Speed Chess, Merman. Good to see Derp joining us again. We got Senpai, Merman. Did I say Merman twice? I don't know. Ma Yui, Destiny of a Dragon Warrior. We've got beginner players again. We do have the fianchetto from Black. Back to Emily's turn. Will she go for a kingside attack again? Like she did last game. She pushes through. She's going to potentially trade queens here. This move feels slightly early to me, pushing a pawn in the center twice. Perhaps we could have developed any of these pieces, but Emily's getting an early tempo against the knight. Knight's going to have to find a new home. This pawn might be a little weak, is my concern. The knight moves and the bishop opens up. We're going to have to defend that pawn. Hello to Asian Logan Roy. Aryarav. Dan the Chessman. Good to see everyone. Thanks for tuning back in, supporting Emily and her over-the-board tournament here. This is day 2 of 3. Her second game today. First game was her first loss of the tournament. She started yesterday with a perfect 2-0, losing her last game in an endgame. But here we have round 4, a new opponent, a young one. Looks like he's got some earbuds in. Hopefully not an earpiece. I don't know if we had to check on that. I don't know if this is FIDE rated. I am not sure. Okay, we see the capture, which is the best move. Emily's going to have to recapture, most certainly. Recaptures, and now the knight must move unless black wants to trade queens first, which I think they should. Otherwise, maybe one of these two moves look very decent. Yeah, surprisingly, trading queens is not the best move for black. So if I were black, I would trade, but that does help white activate their rook. But at least black maintains castling rights. The computer is saying knight to g4 is the best move. This makes a lot of sense. I am slightly worried though. Queen takes, king takes. You could castle with check, but then you're creating a couple problems for yourself. This knight g4 move can be pretty strong and annoying to deal with. So I would just take first, and then I would worry about this knight taking this pawn. I would either play knight to f3 or maybe even f4. At some point, I'd like to kick the knight away, so it's no longer attacking f2, and then I would consider queenside castles. You want knight fd7 immediately, besides capturing. Yeah, it did like knight fd7 immediately. That is a good point. Taking also is still very good, though. These are the two best options. So black does trade queens. This is probably how I would play it. Emily hasn't done it quite yet, but she will take with the rook. So very strong placed rook. The rook really doesn't have a better square to beat. This is the most ideal situation. Completely open d file. Why not? And so Emily's got two minor pieces left to develop, and then she can castle kingside if she wants to. But right now, black has to figure out where the knight wants to go. Probably going to end up on either d7 or g4. Interestingly, the move prior, the computer liked knight g4 better, but now it likes knight fd7 as the top choice. Knight g8 is the second best move. Why knight g4 is not even a third option? So maybe knight moves and maybe we have a counterattack on c7. Maybe there's just knight d5. And that's going to be annoying. So that could be this could be a quick one, folks. Maybe we see knight g4 or knight d5. That would be nice to see, huh? What's up, Greta? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Hello to Toast. I think Toast tuned in yesterday and is back today. So yeah, we've got our thinking caps on here. This is Isaac playing apparently 1530 is what their rating is showing on chess.com. So someone was mentioning this is an under 1300 section. Not entirely sure if that's FIDE or USCF. But shout out to Brody. Happy 2026. We're going to have to go visit some chess club at some point this year. Why is there no commentary partner? I work solo. I'm a lone wolf. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Okay, hold on. Let me try something real quick, actually. Okay, we do have a move. So no knight g4, knight f to d7. Top move. Great move. No blunder there. Let me try and update the board. Let me see something here. Okay. Aria Raf, thanks for the follow. Hello and welcome. And Hard Rune Rat Boy, thank you for the follow. And when I think of Rune, I think of RuneScape. Not sure if that's in any relation to that. In Collegiate Chess League too, I see you were commentating alone. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I have a partner. I was commentating a few matches last season with another commentator. I commentated with Gremlin for a Georgia Tech match. I commentated with Bach for a SLU match. I commentated with Matthew Pikus for another SLU match. So it depends. I mean, this is Emily's stream, so she gets to decide who commentates. I think that if we wanted to commentate with someone else, it just depends on whoever's availability. So right now it's just me, and that's totally okay. That's okay with me, at least. It might not be okay with some of you, maybe even most of you, but you have to do with what you got, basically. But yeah, for the most part, I think whenever you see streamers playing over the board tournaments and they have a commentator, to my understanding, it's mostly just people volunteering their commentary. So, you know, it's just kind of people are being nice, and it's also fun to watch, and it's cool to interact with the chat and the viewers. So if I wasn't streaming this right now, I don't know if I'd be streaming. So it's always nice for me. Like, I had a problem, especially last year, just trying to stream in general. So when people ask me, like, hey, do you want to do a lesson or commentate? It's really good for me to say yes, because then that forces me to stream more and get active, because Lord knows I'm not doing it for myself every single moment that I can. But if someone else is like, hey, you want to do this thing with me? I'm like, yeah, sounds great. It's kind of funny. I'll do a lot of things for other people, but not as much for myself. I don't know if anyone relates to that. Oh, thank you, Christensen. Her opponent already out of prep. That's good. What's my elo, Bermuda Man? On chess.com, I'm around 2100 blitz, 2200 bullet, 2200 class or rapid. On FIDE, I'm like 1740. USCF, I'm around 1900. Do I allow viewer challenges in my own streams? Like 95% of the time, no. I do, but it's rare. I would have to really designate like a stream for it to be ready to do that, basically. Usually I'm just playing in the random pool. Black is fine after knight d5. Bishop takes e5. Knight f3, e6. Are you saying the knight g4 line? No complaints. Nice, merman. What's up, AJ? How's it going? Opponent is 1175 USCF, by the way. Okay. So I don't know what this 1530 is coming from. but that's a-okay with me. Why is Emily always against the kid? That's a good question. There's just a lot of kids that play chess. Chess is a popular game, and there's a lot of kids that play it. So whenever you play in these open tournaments, you're going to get a lot of these kids. So there are adult-only tournaments, especially in Charlotte. Emily has played in a few of them, I believe, and has streamed them before. They're called Alto, ALTO. It stands for at least 21, I think. At least 21 only or something. You won Improver Sunday chess tournament today. 5 out of 5. You came second due to tie breaks. Getty came first, also had 5 out of 5, but came first. I don't know anything about that, Arya. What's up, Jerome? Good to see you. Knight d5 still looks unpleasant. That's true. Knight d5 is the top recommendation, actually. We're just going after this pawn with the fork. And there's no knight a6 defense. It's important to note, we could play knight b5 with the same exact idea, right? Both knight d5 and b5 attack this c7 pawn. However, knight b5 allows knight a6 because the knight is blocking our bishop. But if we play knight d5, there's no longer knight a6 because we're just going to snap that off the board. And we're going to be doing great in that position. So if we play knight d5 immediately, there's a big question on how to defend this pawn. And the answer lies in this bishop. Now that the knight has moved back, black has one main threat. And both of these pieces are attacking e5. So when we play knight d5, black can then take on e5 with the defense of c7 at the same time. Now, interestingly, this is still good for white. So we are gambiting the e-pawn, actually. And Emily, she's certainly looking at all of this, right? She sees that the pawn is hanging. She's probably considering some f4 idea, right? There's also knight f3 is an idea. Although knight f3 doesn't exactly defend the pawn entirely, but certainly there would be risks, right? Because knight d5 is just such a strong move. It's not only attacking c7, by the way. The knight and the bishop coordinate on e7. So this could be a really fruitful position for Emily if she can find these pressing lines with knight d5. Knight d5, bishop takes, then you could just play knight f3. You're attacking the bishop. And I guess they'd have to go back to d6. But then we can just play something like moving this knight, attacking the bishop. So there could be a lot of piece court. Wait, I already put the knight here, so I can't go here or here. So what am I talking about? Maybe I do a little bit of some analysis here. Bishop takes, knight f3. Bishop d6. Oh, we just take on e7. Boy, that's brutal, huh? That's a brutal tactic. I'm surprised this works out, huh? Bishop takes, knight takes, king here, knight takes. It looks like our knight's trapped. Just initial thoughts, I wouldn't personally go for this. But certainly the computer must see some justification. So bishop f6. Knight d4. I guess we're trying to bail this guy out. And if this comes out, there's ideas of coming out to b6 because this knight might get pinned at some point. So, okay, it likes b6, right? But now we get into b5. But there's always like this problem, right? So Check. Block. And now what do you want? Bishop e7. Knight ac7. There's got to be this, no? Oh, terrible. Terrible move. So the rook's got to move. Rook e5. f4. I mean, this clearly is too much even for me, to be honest. So I don't know. I don't know about all this. That's a bit much to find. Bishop takes on e7 is a bit much. So what else could we be thinking? I'm thinking there's like f4, still bishop d6. Still bishop e7, but it's not as good. Because I guess we prefer having the knight out instead. That's the thing, right? You could see that maybe you can distract the bishop and you get this fork. But the question becomes, can you see a way to get your knight out? Because we're taught that 2 minor pieces is not worth a rook. 2 minor pieces are greater than a rook. So we don't want to give up 2 minor pieces just to get a rook in the corner. But if you can see that your knight can come out, then it's not giving up 2 pieces. You're winning an exchange, which would be great. And you're getting, you know, these pawns as well on top of it all, which is just added bonus material, essentially. So Emily's in a deep think here. She is in the think tank. She's spending a lot of time here early. This is only move 8. We're 7 moves in. And who knows how deep Emily's calculations will yield. We could see that she gives up the pawn and plays knight f3. She could go for knight d5 for sure. The question is, what's her follow-up? Can she find the bishop takes e7 line? Which, like, it would be hard for me. Emily, though, she's definitely better than me, so she could do it. I might not be able to, but she can do anything she sets her mind to. And that's what makes it so fun. Watching Emily achieve greatness before our very own eyes. We saw it back to back in both her games yesterday. Truly a marvelous showing. Making pawns move twice after they've already moved. I mean, I've certainly never pulled that off before. I couldn't do that, but Emily did it. So Emily, she's proved that anything's possible if you set your mind to it. Did I see Gukesh silencing the audience yesterday? No. Hello, Alex. Thanks for tuning in and being supportive. Capturing a piece backwards with your pawn. That would be quite impressive. She just needs to take the risk. Might be too tough to calculate. Yeah, sometimes that can lead to problems and mistakes and blunders. So that's why it's a risk. It's always complicated to have to calculate everything through. There's always a point where your calculations maybe get a little fuzzy and blurry. And so you have to weigh the pros and cons of the risk, right? Like when I'm playing classical, I'm actually more risk averse. I'm trying to avoid taking unnecessary risks. When I'm playing online, dude, I don't care. Yeah, let's send it. Let's see what happens, right? Because it's fun. And the online ratings, those are just made up imaginary points, right? No real consequences there. Oh my god, and she's gone for it. Boom. She's played it. Holy smokes, folks. We're in for a treat. Emily delivering again. Knight d5. She said, hey, what's up with that c-pawn? What you gonna do about that? And yeah, I mean, he can take on e5. It's really the only move, and it wins a pawn, but Emily's gonna get some development. She's gonna get some real nice counterplay, some tactics. Let's see, dude. I wonder what she's got in store for us after bishop takes e5. I wonder what her follow-up is. Is she gonna find knight f3? Strongest continuation, just developing with the tempo. I mean, that's just some of the bare basics of chess development. And we saw this yesterday as well when her opponent played queen b6, attacking her b2 pawn, and she follows up with e4, going after the d5 pawn. She said, go ahead, take my b pawn. And honestly, he should have, after what she did with that pawn later. But no, that pawn stayed on the board, and it delivered. It was putting on a show later on in the endgame. You don't know. Some of these pawns that Emily has, they have some tricks up their sleeves. So it's important that black takes on e5 now. Get at least one of the pawns off, because if they leave that pawn around, who knows what it'll do. What's up, Gemster? How'd she do in game 3? She lost game 3 in an endgame. It was a fairly even game, and then Emily traded into a king and pawn endgame, and the opponent was able to basically create a pass pawn, and I think there was a resignation. Hello, Mantar. Welcome in. What's Emily's score right now? So she won the first 2 games, and she lost the third. So she's 2 out of 3 right now, and she's looking to go 3 out of 4 here, which would be great, setting herself up in a great position for tomorrow. Knight a6 is not a defense here, because knight a6, we're going to snap that knight off. We're going to remove the defender of c7. So bishop takes is the only move that is playable. Anything else that if black doesn't play this move, then the eval is going to read over +3. So okay, he takes it. He does find the best move. This is, I would say, the most logical move. It's really the only defense for c7. What's interesting is this attack is on both pawns. So if the king tried to defend, we could take with check, force the king back, and then just bring the bishop back, honestly. Maybe even bishop here could be a move. That would be really pretty. So no, bishop takes on e5 played. Yeah, castling is an idea because this comes with a fork, so castling would remove your king from the check, but the problem is this just traps the rook. The rook has no legal moves. And so, yeah, oh my god, Emily is playing the top. She's playing the best. Knight f3, development with tempo. And now the best move here is apparently just e6. Which, frankly, I think is a little scary. But it's a counterattack on this knight. So e6, if we take here, the point is not to take back, because then we land the fork. The point is, after we take the bishop, they're going to take this knight instead. So, very interesting plan here by the computer, but I have a suspicion. I feel like this is the first move that I look at is bishop back to d6. And then that's what's going to allow this bishop takes e7 move. That, I think, is what was really tricky when I was looking at this line. Bishop to d6, and I am not entirely sure if Emily's going to find bishop takes e7 to find knight takes c7. I think it's findable. I think the bigger issue then becomes, how do you get that knight out of there? And the key is getting this knight in, apparently. So, yeah. But, you know, we might not see bishop d6. We could see... We'll see what black comes up with here. Maybe there's also c6 as a possibility. But then there's knight takes e7, apparently. Wow. Yeah, he plays e6. Dude, these guys are playing some good chess here. Why didn't she take on e7? With what? If developing the piece with tempo is just really good to do in general, but if we take on e7, the problem is we're attacking with two pieces, so whichever piece you take with, that leaves the other one vulnerable. So let's say we take with the bishop, then there's going to be c6, right? c6, and our knight has to defend that bishop, but our knight's under attack. So if we move the knight, we're going to lose our bishop. If we take with the knight, then there's going to be either of these pawn pushes. Our bishop will be hanging. I guess we could take here, but then our knight again becomes trapped, right? We're going to lose this bishop. We win this bishop, we lose this one, but then we're going to lose the knight as well. We're going to lose a piece. So capturing this pawn is not going to be good for us because the other piece, whatever is defending, is going to become vulnerable. So it's a bit of a trap. It's a bit risky. So we develop with a tempo, and our opponent wisely finds this counterattack. So we should take on e5. E takes d5, and then we have rook takes, and we're going to get the pawn back, and we're going to be ahead in development. So, yeah, Emily now. You don't really want to move this knight. So, yeah, she takes on e5. She's playing very impressive chess right now. She's finding these moves. And now, obviously, taking here is a big blunder. So, black's taking on d5. And now here, Emily has a couple moves. She could take on d7 if she wanted to. She could just retreat the knight. But I think best is just recapturing the pawn, and that defends the knight as well. I'm pretty against taking on d7, and the reason being is that we're going to help black develop one of these pieces. They're going to recapture, so we would be giving them essentially a move, a tempo. Whereas if we take this pawn and they trade us, then we take with check even. So that would be pretty good. Also, I love that we won the dark square bishop, and we have a dark square bishop, and they fianchettoed. So all of this really adds up to just having a really strong control over the dark squares. Oh, that's an even better point, actually. Thank you for showing us this, because if the knight takes there, then voila, the game is over. That'd be beautiful. So, okay, now, if we take here, this is a good point. The knight is defended by the rook, but the rook could be attacked. So, if we do this, and they do something like this, then... Oh, because we have the mate threat, we just bring the rook back, and our knight's not actually hanging. That's beautiful. I was gonna think about something like this. And we have knight f6, and we get this pawn, and there's definitely some compensation. Right here, I mean, okay, we just take here, and we're threatening some stuff. But yeah, there's definitely some world where we can ignore this threat and just take the piece, and we could sack an exchange there, but we get a lot of compensation. So that could have been a thing for sure. But yeah, just bring the rook all the way back. Like even just rook. We probably don't want to block our bishop. Rook anywhere. Maybe even just rook d1. This would be really a nice way to play. But okay, Emily, she decided to simply take on d7. An opponent decides to take with the bishop. And now she should take on d5 before black can save it. So, yeah, I didn't like taking on d7, but it is what it is, as they say. Burt Macklin, I'm a king. I don't know about that. But thank you. What's up, beginner players? Good to see you. What's her rating? I can't see it. I don't think it's displayed anywhere on the stream. But I think she's like around 1100. Right? I don't know. I could be wrong. But I'm sure someone else knows. But yeah, that checkmate on d8 was really nice. That was a nice... I really wish she took on d5 first. Now she's hesitating. So... But it's still a great position for her. She winked? I missed it. Dang, dude. Usually on my channel, you have to pay points for a wink. What's she winking for? It's her turn. Now she's really in thought here. This is the Emily thinking, maybe some slight confusion. Now she's looking around. She's like, Oh, slight small. Oh. What's going on? Where's she going? She just she's talking to someone. Arbiter. Hi. So I was playing this game and my opponent just got up and left after he made his turn. And I'm a streamer, by the way. I'm live. You should actually watch my game at Emily Plays Chess, live on Twitch. And she's like, oh, thank you. All right. Make sure you tuned in, okay? I want you to see my next move. And that's that. That's settled. That's surely what they were talking about. That was probably... I feel like Emily does that whenever she plays and streams her games OTB. She's like, wait, did I tell the arbiter to tune in to my game yet? Maybe I should just go do that just to be sure. Probably. She was 1,000 before the tournament started. Nice. What's up, Mr. Racer? Okay, she takes on D5. And now we've laid the trap. Bishop to C6. Boom. Checkmate. Well, probably the knight develops if I had to say. Yes. Yes, this bishop is going to be a menace. So we'll see what black does. Black, they could try castling. They could do it. But then this knight's going to have a problem developing. But maybe the bishop comes here. Skewers us. But this pawn would be poisoned. When you're good looking, are all of your captures hot takes? That's a good take, honestly. It's true. Alright, guys. Let's see it. Bishop C6. Come on. Bishop C or bishop to E6. You know, you don't necessarily want to block the knight from developing. Yes, we want any bishop move. That'd be just fantastic. Look, there's two great moves. Just attacking that undefended rook right there. Let's see it. Come on, kid. You know you want to. Just move your bishop, man. When's she gonna release the B pawn? That's a great question too. Will the B pawn go 2 squares on the first turn, or is she gonna save it for later? That'd be pretty sweet. Yo, we got a 5-stream streak from Eggboj. I don't know. Thank you. Well, someone had a 10-stream streak yesterday. I thought that was pretty impressive. Double digits, dude. I wonder if they'll hit 11 today, or if they're gonna snap their streak. Who knows? Should I become like the next Duolingo? I guess Twitch must have seen. They're like, dude, everyone's on their Duolingo streaks. We should start our own streak for Twitch. Maybe the opponent will castle. That's true. But as I had mentioned, it's going to make it difficult to develop this knight because that bishop's going to be hanging. But castling would also free up the bishop to then move. So every move in chess, there's pros and cons. Castling is probably a good move. So there's that. Yeah, and then Emily's probably going to put the bishop on e2. Maybe, but okay, you don't want to get skewered here though. So it's slightly awkward because we can't castle. So yeah, I mean my thought process is if castles, I would love to put the bishop here or here. But the problem is there's going to be this check coming in. Ooh, knight c6 question mark. And why is that? Bishop f6 now. I'm thinking bishop h6 prevents castling, but maybe they castle here, right? But we go bishop f6, they can't castle queenside. And okay, they could castle short. No, they can't because they move the knight. So this is kind of like a move order thing, right? We mentioned castling makes it hard to develop the knight, but here they develop the knight, which inversely makes it difficult to castle. So bishop f6. Strong move here from Emily. If she finds it, she's going to prevent queenside castling still and hit that rook. And black cannot short castle because that drops their bishop. So this would be pretty fun. Now, I'm curious. There's a world where we play bishop f6 and black plays bishop to e6. And we could just trade rooks there. But I feel like that would probably make life a bit easier for black. So after bishop to f6 and bishop e6, I'm wondering if there's a good rook move for us in that situation. And apparently it's rook b5, attacking the pawn. So that makes sense. Now you say, hey, you've got two things hanging, and I have no things hanging. So that's pretty good. Yeah, knight c6. You know what's great about watching a game is that you immediately get to see if it's good or not. You know, you get to this giant question mark. So we have the luxury of knowing. But the players, they don't know. For all black knows, he's saying, hey, this is my best move right now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It'd be really cool if Emily could put this rook on a1. If it could go off the board to the right and then go here, then she could castle with it queenside and double her rooks on the d file. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, sometimes Emily, she just comes up with these sort of moves. Maybe she could do it. Dang, Joe, you're blowing up. Keep up the good work, Mantar. I appreciate that. I don't know if I am blowing up, but I will try my best to keep up the good work. I recently learned how to stream on TikTok and YouTube and Twitch at the same time. So that's made things, I think, easier, and it's also pretty fun. We are live on YouTube right now, not vertically, but horizontally. And the only reason why I specify is because there is a difference in like the algorithm and the viewership. I think there's a lot more people watching vertical streams just randomly. So it's helpful for people discovering your channel. But also YouTube is just a larger platform than Twitch. So there are a lot of people that watch YouTube live streams with either format. Welcome back, Maple. Good to see you again. What's her record? She is 2 out of 3 right now. So she won the first 2 yesterday, and she lost her first one this morning. Now we're going for 3 out of 4. I'm doing well. How are you? Blowing up means getting gassed out in wrestling. Yeah, blowing up is typically a bad thing, I think. But, you know, if you're talking about social media, I mean, everyone's trying to blow up. That's not true. But, anywho. Okay. Emily has played a move. She played rook d2. Oh, man. She's anticipating knight b4, I think. What did we want? We wanted bishop f6. That's what we wanted. That's okay. Opponent still can't castle. So, curious to see what they come up with. Maybe they try... I mean, they wouldn't even try queenside castling. They would just blunder an exchange. I know it's not legal, but clearly that doesn't stop the players from doing illegal things. So, seeing that you lose an exchange, that would stop them for sure. Knight b4, so maybe a3. Yeah, I think you're right with the knight b4 threat. They could have played knight b4. Had Emily left the rook on d5, and that'd be kind of a strong move. But no, I don't know. The thing is, you know, if she just does something at random, then yeah, knight b4 could be a problem. But if she finds this move, it's a strong threat, right? Maybe she's also worried about the bishop move. So let's see. So if you can't castle here and you can't castle here, what do you do as black? You want to get to a point where you can castle, which means probably moving the bishop. But Emily is still going to prevent castling, I imagine. I mean, problem is, though, going here doesn't prevent castling anymore, because castling would save the rook. So, okay, he plays h6. h6, and, oh my god, just inviting bishop f6. Why not, dude? Bishop f6? And hello? I mean, what if... I mean, she has to play bishop. Bishop f6. The rook has, like, 3 options. And then we bring the bishop out somewhere. Like, I'm thinking bishop to c4. The reason why I don't want to give this check, really, it's twofold. First off, we're blocking our own bishop from developing. But second off, bishop here, rook moves here, let's just say. Rook check immediately, and they can block with their bishop here, which is kind of annoying. So that's why I really like the bishop on c4. This move is really encouraging her to go into f6. So, yeah, she's thinking here. You can tell she senses that there's something wrong with this move. She's like, really? He's just attacking my, like, he's inviting me in. He's opened the door for bishop f6. Encouraging. Bishop f6 was a good move the move prior. She didn't do it. And now he's like, hold on, I think you wanted to move your bishop. So let me give you a nudge in the right direction. So let's see Emily take advantage of it. You think the kid has AI glasses? And there she goes. Bishop f6. She's saying hello to the rook. And now black could blunder with kingside castles, giving Emily a freebie. That bishop on d7, though. So after the rook moves anywhere, the move we want to play, I like bishop c4. The computer does not. So that means, okay, it likes bishop e2, and it likes bishop b5, and it likes bishop d3. So basically, any bishop move besides c4, and I guess besides a6 as well. But that's weird, though, that my favorite move is the worst option. Maybe that's not weird. Maybe I'm just now realizing, and that's the normal. May I ask what happened in Emily's morning game? She lost that position. She traded into a king and pawn endgame, and then she lost. Unfortunately, her first loss of the tournament. Why not bishop b5 before? Before she moved rook d2? She was worried about bishop b5 is playable for sure. She was worried about knight to b4 stuff, it seems. But this would pin the knight, it's true. But then, you know, there's a6. And then she's got to move. I guess she's still pinning it, so. Yeah, rook d2 was not her best move this game, but ended up not costing her any problems because opponent basically gives the turn back with h6, and it forces her to find a good move here, which we love when our opponents help us out. So, okay, opponent played rook g8, got up and said, see ya. And now it's back to Emily's turn here. How's Emily doing? She's doing great in this position. She just has to get her light square bishop out, and she's ready to castle. And black, they're going to have an absolute nightmare of a time trying to castle. So they've already moved one rook, so that eliminates kingside for the rest of the game. And Emily's dark square bishop is being an absolute monster, taking up the diagonal to prevent black from castling queenside. Emily, meanwhile, she's going to bring this bishop out. She knows, too. She's maybe thinking about the check, but she's going to see that it's not going to be good. So she's going to bring this bishop out to one of these 4 squares. Apparently c4 is the worst of the 4. That's the one that I liked. You know, maybe it's because I like to play the Italian. Maybe it's just inherently in my blood. Although I don't think I'm Italian. But if I was, then I would be forced to play bishop c4. Otherwise, my ancestors might disown me. So, why do these people take so long to move, though? Aren't they skilled enough to see the outcome pretty quick? Dominator. Well, this is a classical time control. So you have like well over an hour on your clock. That gives you a lot of, like, if you're playing blitz or bullet and you don't have any time, you just have to play on your instinct and just play fast, then, you know, you'd be playing a lot of inaccuracies and a lot of blunders. And so that extra time, it allows you to really dive deep and just look over every single detail, right? There's a lot of nuances, right? We're mentioning this bishop has 4 squares, 4 options that are good, and they're not all the same. There are differences that would, you know, lead to some key details, and that difference can compound over the course of a game. So it takes a lot of time to calculate what is the best place for this bishop to go, right? If I really want to maximize the juice out of this squeeze here, because she knows she's better, this is a much better position for white. But it's not clear how you're going to be able to convert that advantage into something concrete, right? Material right now is dead even. So being better is not good enough. You have to then convert. What's up, Don Mahogi? Always good to see a legend in the chat. It's longer than 90 minutes. This is 100 minutes with, I believe, 10-second increment. Has Emily played anyone older than 12 this whole tournament? That's a great question, and I don't know. It's very possible that she has not. Bruin doesn't sound like a very Italian surname. I agree with you on that. That being said, Bruin's not even my last name. My last name is actually Lee, which is Asian. But thank you, Death by Chocolate 99, for the follow. Luckily, I'm not allergic to chocolate, but people have told me that I have that dog in me, so Maybe I am. No, I'm not. I had chocolate yesterday, so I'm still here. Maybe it's death by enough chocolate. Like, I just haven't had enough of it. So, yeah, enough of anything could be bad. Are you Dutch? No, I'm not Dutch. Bruin's not my last name. Yes, Bruin is the UCLA mascot. How bad is Bishop C4? Joe Broke asking the real questions here. So the engine is only giving me the top 3 moves. So if I play this is still good. The engine creeps down a little bit. It was over +2, but this is only +1.5. And that's because it allows Bishop E6, I guess, is the thing. My thought process was, give me that. That's fine. You're going to have an isolated pawn. That's like why I wanted to go here, is because I wanted to give this check, and they don't have that anymore. Well, maybe they do, actually, because they fork us. That'd be pretty rude of them. Man. That's why you have to spend the time and calculate, because clearly my idea wasn't so good. My idea was just give them this check. Liz with a huge rate of 87. Let's go. Shout out to Liz. Absolute legend. And speaking of absolute legends, we are witnessing greatness unfold before our very own eyes with Emily Plays Chess playing in round 4 of the Charlotte Open 2026. And she just played Bishop E2. She was not falling for my terrible recommendation of Bishop C4. She is now prepared to castle. And maybe this bishop goes to F3. Who knows? But this is a +2.5 advantage for white. White is ready to castle. Black, it's going to take some serious work before they can get to a safe point in castling. So we shall see. I'm curious what Black's plan is here. They could try to bring the knight back, but castling drops the knight too. Another idea here that I'm coming up with is G5 to play Rook G6. What do you guys think about that? That's certainly an idea. So, what's funny? G5, she can hit him with H4. And if they try Rook G6, we're going to take on G5, defending our bishop. And if they take bag, then boom. That's checkmate. Rook hits the back rank with a devastating end to the game for her opponent. We've seen this bishop has already set up 2 mating nets now. And that's the power of having the bishop pair. When your opponent gives up a bishop and you have that colored bishop, that bishop is uncontested on that color complex. The only piece that black has that can get this bishop out is this knight or one of the rooks. But you obviously don't want to give up a rook for a bishop if you don't want to go down in exchange. So this bishop can never really contest this one. And this bishop's doing a fantastic job. That's why h6 was such a bad move. It invited the bishop in, displaces the rook. That takes away castling rights for black on the king side. And similarly, the bishop is controlling this diagonal next to the king. So he is very short on squares. He might consider going here just to bring the rook here, to be honest. But of course, that doesn't work. This bishop is hanging. You can't play rook here because that would be hanging. You can't castle. And so really, black, you could tell they're short on moves. That's why they played the pawn move. They're like, I can't move anything. I think they could move this bishop, and they probably should. Otherwise, the computer likes knight d8, I guess, which is a move, I suppose. I don't think that's going to be played. That goes against a lot of things. Moving the same piece twice, moving it backwards after having it already developed. So, yeah. So far, we're looking at, like, we're in great shape here. Hello, RF. Good to see you. What's up, Luke? How's it been, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're having a great 2026 so far. Isn't bishop e2 the best move? So bishop e2 was the best move. Bishop e2 and bishop b5 were both top choices. So, okay, bishop e2. And looks like our opponent, they're going bishop e6 here. And now, Emily should just castle. She should castle, or she has bishop f3 as well. Both are fantastic moves. This pawn is not under threat because we can just play b3. So this and this, these are our top two candidate moves. The next best move, I don't fully understand. The computer likes c4. So who knows? Anywho, no, I think she'll castle. I think she will castle. Castling, putting the rook on d1 and playing bishop to c or b5. Oh my lordy, we're threatening mate in 2 there. If we can get that off, that would be beautiful. Thank you, Luke. Yeah, I've been having a great year so far, but we are only 2.5 weeks in. You're thinking a6 or a3 from Emily. I don't think she'll play a3. I think a3 would be a waste of a move. So she should definitely castle, in my opinion. The computer likes bishop f3 best, but really I like the development. Like, these pieces have all developed so far. That's how she was able to find this bishop move, right? She understands we're not moving these pieces and we're not moving the pawns. We have a couple tasks left before we can really maximize the potential of our position. And that includes activating these last 2 pieces off the back rank. We need to develop the bishop in order to get castled, in order to get the rook into the game. So voila, bishop e2. Simple. We're ready to castle. Next move, bishop to e6. This doesn't quite change anything. That's why we need to castle, because that is the next logical step in our plan. The computer likes bishop f3 though. It really does. And I mean, I couldn't tell you why. I don't know. Maybe the knight wants to go here. But even still, that doesn't solve the castling problem. Because queenside castles, I mean, the rook is still here first and foremost, right? But even if they could, the knight's still hanging. So, yeah. I feel like we should castle. We still have bishop f3 next. I would much rather get the rook to d1 than the bishop to f3. So, yeah. And honestly, the difference between bishop f3 and castling is only 0.3. So it's not like a significant difference. Delaying castling is extremely risky, because as you saw here, there was an opportunity where in this position black could have castled. They instead developed the knight. Actually, yeah, so the knight is defending this bishop, right? They could castle now, and I mean that still has some risks. But this is a good opportunity. They could at least do it, right? They do this, and now they can't anymore after bishop f6. Emily missed it for a move, but now that the knight is developed, this bishop is hanging, so they can't castle anymore. So here they've run out of moves, and that now they can no longer castle kingside, and they might as well not be able to castle queenside either, ever. So you're really limiting yourself when you delay castling. The earlier you can do it, you know, you can get it out of the way and worry about your pieces later. In this situation, Black has really handcuffed themselves, and Emily here, I think, should castle now. And this is the last piece that hasn't moved. Once you get both rooks on the d-file, this is so close to just collapsing for Black. Black's going to be in a world of hurt. And Emily knows it too. She knows that castling has to be high up on the priority list. The only reason not to play castles is if you have something better. And that's currently what she's looking at, right? Could it be bishop f3 or bishop b5 or something, right? But it's like, to me, it's not so concrete. Like, I don't understand. Like, I understand if I play bishop f3, I still want to castle later. So why not castle now? That's my sort of thought process. Your OTB opponent Fortnite danced when you won. Dang, you got emoted on, bro. How does the computer like a3 or b3? So the best bishop f3 is like +3. The next best is like +2.7 with castling. A3 it's reading +1.3. B3 it's similarly like +1.5. So still good. Still an advantage for white. It's just those moves are unnecessary. We're not worried about this a pawn by any means because bishop takes, we're just going to play b3 and the bishop's just trapped. So that's not going to be good for Black to do that. How has Emily done with clock management in her other games? I felt like her time management was pretty good yesterday when I was watching. I didn't watch her round earlier today, so I'm not entirely sure. But so far, this game, I mean, here's what I'll have to say about the time management. She is down on the clock, but she is up on the board. And if you can convert your time into an advantage, I think it's worth it. And I think that's exactly what she's done. And like here, for example, I think castling you could play a little faster. Because, like I said, the only reason why you wouldn't castle is if you find something better. So she's looking for something better than castling, and it's just like the computer will tell you bishop f3. What's funny though now is the computer is saying castling is better than bishop f3. So that proves that even the computers have to think a little bit. But Emily was able to find it, so she has castled. And yeah, the opponent is going to be in a world of hurt. So 97 is going to be a move. And then she's going to be able to just double the rooks on the d-file. There's no getting this. I mean, guys, this is just textbook development. When your king is in the middle of the board uncastled, your rooks are not playing, and your opponent has every piece out, rooks doubled, you're cooked, right? I mean, rook fd1 is immediately pinning the knight, essentially. Like, we are going to be having some serious threats. We're like 2 moves away from mating, essentially. And we're only 16 moves in the game. Did she win her last one? No, she lost her 3rd round. So she is 2 out of 3 right now. But she is cooking up a W right now. It's in the oven. She's preheating the oven right now. And she's about to serve this kid an L, as they say. I apologize. If he watches this back, he's like, man, I'm getting cooked. Literally. And Emily's the chef. So right now she's putting all the ingredients together. Kiwi, thank you for the follow. Black's going to need a5, a4, rook lift. g5 is a move. G5 is a move. And then there it's saying bishop d3. I think that oh man, g5 bishop d3, and we're actually threatening to trap the rook. We could win an exchange by force if they don't react to that. So yeah, the main difference here is this bishop and the development, and it's thanks to this bishop and this rook as well. So I mean, if we wanted to look over the opening, if anyone missed it or just tuning in, or especially if you came in from the raid, we started with d4 and opponent goes for a fianchetto. That allows Emily to get a nice pawn duo in the center, and that allows her to then kick this knight away. And the opponent takes. Now, they should have just brought the knight back immediately, but this capture leads to the queen trade, which puts her rook on just the beautiful open d file. Now they bring the knight back, and Emily just goes for the throat here. That leads to some serious defensive maneuvers here. Bishop takes is the only move. Knight f3, e6, knight takes, pawn takes. And now Emily should have just taken on d5 immediately with the rook, I think. But she trades, then she takes. Here we needed a bishop f6 to put the most pressure, but the opponent did not capitalize on rook d2. So here there could have been, one of these bishop e6 moves, for example, that like they were able to play later, but they go here, invites the bishop in, so now the rook has to move, and only then do they play bishop e6. But now Emily has castling, and now black is again in this situation where they're not going to really have any good options. They're just super short on squares. So one of the better moves it's saying is king f8, which is really sad because the king can't lift anywhere, right? But maybe that creates a spot for the rook to come here, perhaps. Thank you, Jim Bob. Chess Tone, thanks for the follow. Or I guess it's Chess Stone. Kid reaches out to Joe for a lesson. Very doubtful. There are much better coach options out there. Your friend's playing in the back. Icy Flammel. Oh, thank you, Barney. That's very sweet. Is the kid good? Well, being good is pretty subjective, but rumor has it he's around 1100, so probably better than most people. Who knows? I don't know what the 50th percentile is for USCF. G5 is an option, yes. We were looking at G5, bishop to D3. So I think the whole purpose of playing G5 is to try to flush this bishop out. If you know this bishop is causing a scene, first and foremost, G5 locks the bishop from this diagonal retreat, but also it creates a square for the rook to potentially attack the bishop. And we were mentioning that this light square bishop can't contest the dark square bishop, so the only pieces that could do it would be the knight or the rook. The knight is really getting boxed out by this bishop. There's this really nice geometry. So any knight move, it's going to take a while before the knight can control the f6 square. But the rook can get there with g5, and then rook g6 becomes available. The problem is g5, and we have bishop to d3. Oh, and they've played g5. Okay, so we see g5, and it all makes sense, right? If you think about what's going on in the position, what are the problems, the key pieces, the issues? If you identify this bishop as a menace and you want to remove it, g5 with rook to g6 is definitely one of these top candidate ideas. If white had like 3 moves in a row, they could just double rooks, attack the knight, or pin the knight, and we're gonna get just checkmate, right? So the problem is Emily can only make 1 move at a time, unless she's playing the B pawn, which in some cases can go 2 times in a row. But you know, we don't have to dwell on the past. My point is, she has to deal with this is a serious threat, right? Because we can't just dilly-dally and try to do what we want, because then our bishop's going to get questioned, and our bishop can't just stay on this diagonal. So the best reaction here, first and foremost, we can play like f4, right? And this trade will defend the bishop and open up the rook, so that helps. There's ideas like that, right? This rook becomes active at least, so black can have some say in this being a benefit for them. But the best move is bishop d3, and that first and foremost takes away bishop g6 or rook g6 as an option, because now we control that square. But secondly, bishop d3 actually threatens to play bishop h7, and these bishops are just dominating the rook. Rook has 1 safe square, but then the second bishop can come in. And Emily, at a minimum, is winning in exchange. Chess Stone, thanks for the prime. I really appreciate that. That's really, really nice of you. I know you could use your prime anywhere. So using your prime here, I mean, that's something special. Yeah, it's showing 1530. I don't know if that's accurate. Koi Esther, thanks for the follow. Hello and welcome. Also, you guys, please be sure to follow Emily. I don't have the alerts for Emily's channel, so if you followed her already, thank you. That's very appreciated. iGuy Gaming, thank you as well. Welcome in. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all enjoying the weekend. If you're in the US, hopefully you have tomorrow off. And Emily will be playing again, so hopefully we'll see you all then. I actually am not sure who's commentating tomorrow, but I guess we'll tune in tomorrow and find out. Unless someone already knows. Maybe she's already mentioned it. Adrian, or Adriano Caba, thank you for the follow. Welcome. You're saying this can't be under 1300. Well, if it's USCF, then it could be. I'm not sure though. Of another Isaac Tone. That is also possible. They could have the wrong rating listed. How's it going? Is this FIDE rated? It's going great. I appreciate you asking. Emily's got a fantastic position. I'm feeling good. It's Emily's turn. She might double her rooks, but she should be aware that the rook is going to come in. So yeah, she finds f4. I was gonna say these are like the 2 top moves. So I would love to pin the knight and get both rooks doubled. But as we had mentioned, black has now created a threat to attack the bishop, so we have to take a timeout for our master plan to address this threat, and she's done exactly just that with f4. Bishop to d3 is not the most natural move because we are blocking the rook. So here, you know, maybe we concede some sort of move, but at the same time, bishop d3 just creates a really strong threat of bishop h7, which we could trap the rook with our bishops if we want to. There's a world where we don't even want to do that because the bishops could be so strong, right? We would have to go here, and that kind of lets the king off alleviates some pressure for sure. The bishop could be stronger here than just taking the rook that has no moves. So bishop d3 would have been really nice had Emily found that and played it. But f4, she's still maintaining a solid advantage. It's still over plus 2.5 for white, which is great. And this also just can lead to the rook's development as well. This is round 4, Mystery Man. She's played 2 games yesterday and 1 earlier today. She won both yesterday, and then she lost her first game of the tournament in round 3. So she's 2 out of 3 right now. No need to be sorry. Nothing to be sorry about. In fact, I encourage questions because not everyone is caught up to, people are tuning in at different times. You know, there's some people, they've watched every single minute of every single game, and those people are super fans. But not all of us can tune in for every single move. Like even I didn't watch the other 2 games. But I did watch games 2 and now 4. Pawn takes, and now she should take with the rook. A good old rook capture. But yeah, we have opened up some avenues for the rook now. So yeah, bishop d3 was really strong. This is still good. Rook takes here. And black, they're still just going to be playing down a rook, essentially. But yeah, I mean, bishop d3, I don't even know how black would save their rook. What the best move would be after bishop d3. Could play knight e7. We just play bishop h7, rook f8. Yeah, bishop g7. It's that's gonna do it, man. Yeah, bishop d3, and it's like, dude, what can they even do? Yeah, this is so sad. So that kind of feels like a missed opportunity because it's just so concrete, right? Yeah, it's straight up wins in exchange, at least. So here, now this move doesn't hit as hard because technically this rook now has g4. So they could be trading off a little bit. But yeah, still a bad position for black. It's just about how Emily wants to convert. So we'll see. He has played knight e7, by the way. This is the current position. How did Emily do at Rilton? That's also a good question. I am not sure. Toast is supporting. Maybe not actively watching, but just listening. I really appreciate the lurkers. So shout out to those who might have this on in the background. Whenever I'm cooking dinner and like eating and doing dishes or whatever, just doing some errands or chores, I love having a stream on just to listen. And it's also showing support. I think most Twitch viewers are actually lurkers. So shout out to all the lurkers. It's always nice to have people just tuning in, supporting. You don't have to be a chatter, but the chatters, those are the people that I interact with, that I get to talk to. James and Wilkie, thank you both for the follows. Welcome in. What's up, Dale? Good to see you. Yeah, Emily is a strong player. And she's been putting a lot of work and effort to improving. Like, she's improved a lot since she started. Yes, Emily was in Sweden playing at Rilton. Definitely recommend following Emily on her socials. She has Instagram and she has a Discord server. If you want to stay in tune with all the things she's up to, she's honestly doing a lot. Here she's in Charlotte, which is home for her, which is nice. And obviously the Charlotte Chess Center is a great place to play chess. They've got a great chess community. They've got Dina. They've got Bortnick. They've got the Chess Sharks. So Emily, she's always up to something. And the best way to stay up to date is to follow her on all the places, you know. Joining the Discord server is really easy. You can see whenever she goes live. Instagram, she's usually posting when she's about to play or where she's at. Yeah, she's been on she's been on some podcasts, especially with Dina. They've had some fun guests. The kid seems happy. I don't know if he's happy, but I think that, you know, he's happy to I think have the time advantage. So she's down to 45 minutes. It's less than half the time that she started with. Kid is at 1 hour and 10 minutes, so that's a solid 25 minutes more than Emily. And we're on move 18. So they don't really get bonus time. They get the 10-second increment, but it's not a lot. So yeah, Emily will have to find a way to break through and make some advancements. So 97 and potentially knight d5. I like bishop f3. I think bishop f3 is just a solid move. What else could there be? Yeah, I feel like knight here, and we're just gonna go here. We're just gonna double up. It's a beautiful idea. So yeah, we gotta see what Black's gonna come up with here. Black, honestly, this move, maybe Black's just threatening to double, not double, but to just trade. Just finally get this rook into the game, right? It's blocking this guy, so yeah, top move is rook fd4, and that's just going to remove any rook d8 ideas. And just as I say it, Emily finds it and she plays it. So Black not through the woods just yet. There's no longer knight d5. We're going to give up a rook. Now there is rook to g6. Rook g6 is a move. I have a feeling we could just bring the bishop back now. So, yeah, the knight's penned, by the way, now that our rooks are doubled. There's no knight move. Except if you go here or here, right, you're guarding your king a little bit more. But again, like if knight here or here, it's just game over. So yeah, if the knight goes here, that's going to be a big problem because we're just going to pin the knight and we're threatening mate. So that's beautiful. So that's one problem with that. If they go here, we can just sack a rook to win both pieces. So that would be great too. So rook f to d4 is a fantastic move. It's the best move of the position, doubling our rooks. Right, I was talking about putting the rook on d1, but this g5 plan by black forced Emily to pivot. We did miss the rook d3 idea, but we're keeping the rooks very active. They're doubled up now on the d file. Really no better place for them to be. I am trying to think about, we have this rook g6 idea, but the bishop just comes back. And again, the knight's going to remain pinned. As long as the bishop's on the diagonal. There's no rook here because of the bishop. So bishop h4 is there if we need, which is nice. It's a nice resource to have. But lifting the rook still, maybe the bishop moves and the rook comes in at some point. But yeah, it's very, very short on squares for sure. All of the black pieces, honestly. We mentioned the knight being pinned. That's a huge detriment. So black's gonna have to find a way to like do something, right? So you don't want to move this rook. I mean, what are you doing really? Maybe this pawn's gonna push so that they can come to d5. Maybe they're gonna go c5 and attack the rook, right? But then, you know, you get into d6 or something. So yeah, black is going to be hard pressed to find a good move here. If you want to know, the computer is saying rook c8 is a move. But yeah, it's like black is basically passing their turn, and then white can do whatever they want. So that's the beauty of being ahead in this development. We do see c6. This was one of my ideas of trying to get into d5, but Emily can just keep the lock on the position with c4. c4, and you're just taking away the options for your opponent, right? This is a telegraphed move. Black is definitely making some progress here because they're giving themselves a potential option, but Emily just needs to shut that option down immediately. Play c4 right now, because if you don't, knight's going to come in, that's going to block the file, and it's going to hit the bishop, which is annoying. So we don't want to deal with that. Do I know if Emily will play the Carolina Classic in June? I don't know. I'm sure Carolina, it's like probably pretty close to home for her, so that's probably a good thing. I know last June she played in the National Open in Vegas, because I also played there, and I think I'll probably go back. So I would love to go back to Vegas to play chess. I was just there last month. Physic asking, how does your current sleep schedule look like, if I may ask? The last 2 nights, I've gone to bed around 3 a.m. I've been waking up around like 11 a.m. So, not great, I guess, but that's still like 8 hours. You prefer Vegas for blackjack? Yeah, I'm not a fan of blackjack, but I do like poker. Really only Texas Hold'em. I've played a little bit online the other day. Really like a week or so ago. I didn't play when I was there, though. Either fortunately or unfortunately. But yeah, I do like c4. What else could we consider? A computer saying bishop h5. It's kind of an interesting move. But yeah, even after knight d5, we just have to bring the bishop back. And we still have c4 ideas, so that's good. But yeah, just c4 now, and you take away that option. And you force black to figure something else out, which they don't have that many moves. But yeah, the question though is like if the knight's gonna just stay on e7, like yeah, we're preventing their rook from coming in. But how do we then proceed to make something happen, right? How do we win material? How does white turn an advantage into a material gain? And it's not easy, right? I understand we can just take away one of their moves, and then the pressure's back on them to figure something out. But in the long run, I'm like, how do I actually win, right? So maybe there's a world where we transition the rooks to the e file. Bishop here will pin this pawn to the king. And then this bishop could become a target. And if the bishop moves, the knight's going to fall, right? That's going to be the next target. So there's some merit with bishop h5 here, as the computer's pointing out, as a second best move. It also likes bishop f3. Emily does play c4. This is the best move, and this is going to maintain her advantage in the best way. Black's going to have to figure out... Basically, black is just like a turtle on their back with their feet in the air. Like, they're moving their feet, but they're not really making progress or moving anywhere productively. So it's up to Emily how she wants to close this game out. So yeah, this is just tightening the noose, really. When black doesn't have any moves, that's just going to give Emily free reign to do whatever she wants. And so she's got to figure that out after black's next move. So black first, they're going to have to find some... Again, the knight's just pinned, right? There's no knight move. So that makes things easy for black. They're like, okay, not moving the knight. Probably this rook. There's like rook b8, rook c8, right? Doesn't really change anything in the position. There's rook g6, and then we just play bishop h4. So probably they just do this. There's nothing else. Bishop here, and then, yeah, like moving this pawn is really dangerous. This bishop can hit the rook whenever, or just even being here is like good, right? So yeah, bishop here, then the rook's to the e file, I think. And yeah, Emily's just, she's doing great. Even material, but eval is over +3. So if played correctly, she should win a piece. That's what the computer is saying. I did play in the North American Open. I went 4 out of 7 in the under 2100. Zoomja, welcome to the live feed. We were ahead of you, but you're back now. Yeah, Twitch is doing this replay sort of thing. You can pause a VOD or a live stream really, rather, and go back or whatever. But yeah, I think Twitch really was dominating like the live streaming space, but then YouTube sort of caught up, which is good because people have options and people can live stream on both at the same time, or they could choose one or the other. And it's good for the viewers because they have options, and it really forces Twitch to try their best to keep up. Because I think there was a time not so long ago that Twitch partners had to be like exclusive to Twitch for live streaming. And once YouTube started making some progress in their live streaming, a lot of Twitch streamers were switching. And then Twitch decided like, okay, we have to drop this exclusivity thing, you know? So people can now stream to both at the same time. And that made a lot of Twitch streamers a lot happier, right? Because then they don't have to choose. You don't have to feel like you're making a sacrifice or missing out. So ultimately, it's good for the creators. And what's good for the creators is good for the viewers. Because the creators are free to do whatever they want. And then that gives the viewers more options for who they want to watch, what they want to watch, and where they want to watch. So, yeah, shout out to YouTube, really. Keeping Twitch honest, on their toes. And there's also like vertical streaming, so that's cool. For all those vertical viewers. Okay, Rook G6 played. There was really no other productive option. So this makes a lot of sense. Simply Bishop H4. And you know what's funny about Bishop H4 is it's saying the next best move is Rook back to G8. So that's pretty cool. Probably because if you leave the Rook on G6, the Bishop's going to hit you with tempo. And my oh my, what a world we're living in here. Emily's going to... If I could just take us a few moves into the future, let's look at Bishop H4. Let's just say the best move, Rook G8. Right, and now I like Bishop H5. And I'm trying to get here. Basically, there's a lot of trouble that black can be in with everything lined up on the e-file. So for example, here, I want to go here. And, okay, but now they can go here apparently. Bishop back to F6. Okay, I don't know. Maybe there's some defense, or maybe it's not so easy. Here's another moment they could play c5. I feel like Rook d6 is a good move. And now this is a huge threat. So here it's saying Bishop h3. Ooh. Wow. The idea is if we take... They take with a knight. So there's no time to take here. So we move this guy. But we go here and they've got too many problems. So we are gaining ground. We are winning material. Things get simplified, and like when you're cramped and you have no moves, you want to trade because that's going to create more space and that's going to give you more moves. But at the same time, black, in order to make those trades, is going to have to concede some things, and they're going to make some problems. So yeah, I'm really expecting Bishop h4 now here from Emily, because you don't want to, you know, put the rook back. That's going to let black bring their rook in, right? So if there's no other way to defend this bishop, your only other options would be here, here, or taking, and you certainly don't want to take. Take puts the king up, and that frees the other rook to then activate. So taking this is a great example of alleviating all of that tension and pressure that you've been working so hard to build and maintain. And so that's why Emily brings the bishop back to h4. She's maintaining this advantage, this tension, this pressure, this peace, this control over the diagonal, right? They say to take is a mistake. Now, obviously, there are times when taking is the best move, but when you have a piece that's penned, you want to pile up as much pressure on that piece as possible. So Emily is just really keeping all of the pieces locked in for black. There's no knight move, right? The bishop moving is also just an inherent risk. You can't really go here. You cannot go here. So you could go here maybe. But like, I don't know what that does. So who knows? But yeah, I'm liking this this move coming in hot here. Right? Bishop h5. We'll see. We'll see if we can get there. And if it's gonna help her. It depends on what black does here. Black could bring the rook back. They could play bishop f5. This was one of the 3 best moves. We were able to find this by process of elimination. So, okay, the other move it was recommending was c5, just hitting the rook, but the rook is able to come in. We looked at c5, rook d6, and bishop to h5 as a threat. But the problem with rook d6, the black gets this really cool idea, this way to get out of things with bishop to h3, right? But even still, though, we saw that after c5, that pawn becomes weak. Bishop f2, targeting the pawn. So black, just with really nothing better left to do, they're just going to be making these sort of waiting moves. a6 now from black. And now Emily has to figure out what she wants to do. And we were looking at bishop h5. Bishop h5 is a really strong move because it hits the rook and it's lining up with the king and pins the f-pawn. The bishop would no longer be defended. So bishop to h5 forces essentially rook to g8, and then we can play honestly, you guys, I really like h3. We sort of pointed this. But you know what's interesting? Let me look at this line here. Rook back. If we play h3, bishop takes, we just play rook e4. That's a piece. There's rook g5. You have to give up an exchange, but it's more than that. It's an exchange plus the piece back. You get a rook, essentially. So that is just devastating. You get the rook, and I mean, there's still no way to defend this piece. Well, I guess the bishop won't be there anymore, but we're threatening doubling again. This is gonna be just really quickly game over. Lights out. Clean up on e-file. h3 is nice to play. If we go for this immediately, what was I even thinking? Knight g6. Takes. This would be a terrible continuation for us. Wait, so why is h3 so good? h3, if they play here now, it's still mate, right? So we're keeping the rooks doubled. So what exactly is h3? It's just kind of burning a move a little bit. I don't know, guys. At some point, they're going to run out of moves. But yeah, I thought this was important. Maybe, oh, you know what it is? I remember this now. I was looking at rook to d6. Rook d6, and like, let's say we rush for this. We want to maintain the double on the d file, and we want to hit the rook. Well, now there's bishop g4, and that's annoying. So, I mean, we're still doing well, but it's just annoying. So g3, and still we can go after this guy. I mean, that's hanging, right? So, if we just play h3, it's similar to this c4 idea. c4 eliminates any sort of d5 outpost for black. h3 frees this rook to go up to d6. This is how you maximize the position. And if Emily finds h3, well, first and foremost, the current position right now, black just played a6, because that's just how few options they have, right? a6 doesn't do anything, any way, shape, or form help. I mean, yeah, maybe they try for b5 at some point, but we're always just going to play b3. We're going to maintain the c4 pawn to maintain control over d5. And we're never taking on b5. Even if we do, it's not so much we're worried about the rook lift, because any rook lift still leads to mate. It's more so we're losing our c pawn, which frees up the d5 square. So we can completely ignore essentially whatever's going on over here, because we know this is not part of a greater plan for black. It's just straight up they have no other moves to make, right? So we have to figure out, okay, our breakthrough idea starts with bishop h5. Force the rook back and pin the pawn to the king. We're trying to weaken this complex that they have. And then once the rook goes back, what's our follow-up, right? We want to attack this piece because now it's hanging, because this pawn is pinned. So there's two ways we could do that. We can do it along the e file, or we can do it on the d file. And the d file is much better for two reasons. First off, we're keeping the pressure on the d file. This rook has to defend the mate, and this knight is pinned. As soon as we leave the d file, there's a couple things that can happen. First off, they can try to trade off rooks, right? We're no longer dominating d8. But the more concrete reason why is because then their knight is no longer pinned. If their knight moves, we're mating on d8. But if we go to e4, for example, then we saw this line, bishop here, rook g8, rook to e4, there's knight to g6. And that will break the pin on the pawn. We're no longer attacking on the e file. And so that doesn't quite work for us. The knight's also attacking the bishop, which is annoying. So if we can maintain black's bind, that they can't make any moves, life is so good for us. So if we try bishop h5, rook goes back, and then go up to d6, then they get into g4, because the rook and bishop are both controlling g4. So as soon as the rook lifts, we're conceding control over g4. So that's why bishop h5, rook back, if we just play something as simple as h3, it's so brutal. But you're controlling g4, and there's nothing they can do still. They make some random move, boom, rook d6. It's going to be lights out. They played, okay, so king f2 here from Emily. This reminds me of round 2 when I watched. She started making some king moves. So Emily, essentially, she's like played such a perfect game so far, and now she's like, maybe she's got to the point where she's running out of some steam. She's like, okay, I actually don't know what I'm doing anymore. But yeah, actually, what's very interesting, though, after b5 and we play b3 as we had planned, trade, and the rook, I guess, technically now has the b file. So yeah, it's so important to really maximize your moves. But okay, I mean, like, black played a6, right? That's essentially a free move. We play king f2, maybe not the best in the world. So she missed bishop h5, I guess. I don't know. Really, the rook has to come back. Maybe she didn't like that the knight could come here. It couldn't though if she keeps this doubled rook setup on the d file. So maybe she dismissed bishop h5. Yeah, I don't know. But this being said, I mean, b5 is still a sort of weakness. There's always now this c pawn that's backwards. So maybe Emily is just gonna like take and cash out that way. But if she saw this h3 and then rook d6, I mean, that is... There's like no return from that. That is going to be just domination. If we look at this again, here, here, here. Now if they try b5, for example, now rook here. Well, okay, hold on. Let's play this first. Maybe they play here, whatever. Rook here. This bishop's hanging. If they play here, or even, yeah, takes. What was my idea? Oh, I actually personally didn't have an idea. But the computer's idea is rook f2 now, or rook f6. So now we pivot to attacking f7, I guess. But yeah, I was thinking like bishop here is also a move, but okay, yeah, just we're getting in after this knight. Rook e2, rook lift. Oh man. Now likes king h2, but yeah, what if we go here? There's bishop g6. Oh, but come on. What's going on here? I don't know. Takes. We gotta... Man, the computer puts up some serious resistance. It's like, you could be so winning for so long, but if you don't, you know, keep playing the perfect moves, you can lose all. So, okay, rook a7's been played. This blunder's mate in 1, no? She has her rook's double. Is she gonna play mate in 1? Does she see it? I can't believe he just did that. It's mate, bro. Come on, Emily. Come on. Does she look like she noticed? I mean, come on. There's no way you can sneak that. You can't let him get away with that. End it. Oh, she sees it. She sees it. She's like, did he really? Oh, yeah. She looks at him. Oh, no. She knows, dude. This is like... Boom. Oh, but she knocked her king over. Does that change anything? No, I'm just kidding. Oh, look at his reaction. Brutal. He can't believe it. And Emily, a sigh of relief. And that's what happens when you just keep the pressure up for every single move. Eventually, they're going to get worn out, tired. They can't defend. And that's when a simple mistake can cost you the game in just one single move. She gets him with the knockout, the KO. And that's game over. She is officially 3 out of 4, heading into the third and final day. She's got 2 games remaining. So, congratulations. I've only seen Emily win. Just been dubs only. And she's had the white pieces twice, getting wins both times. Beautifully done. Rook d8, mate, on the board. And there you have it, folks. So stick around. We're going to be doing a interview with Emily in just a moment. But for anyone that missed it, we'll go over the game. We had d4. Both knights out, and black goes for fianchetto. This allows for Emily to play e4 now, getting a nice pawn duo in the center. Brings the bishop out to g5. Black fianchettos, and you'd think that they'd castle kingside, but they never got to it. Emily, she presses forward, creating an attack on the knight. We see this trade. The queens are traded. Emily now controls the d file, and the knight coming back, opening up the attack on the e pawn. But Emily, she doesn't care. She's going full out, and this is how you press and keep pressure. You create problems. Emily plays knight d5, creating a problem. Black tries to defend, but Emily is creating another problem. She's attacking the defender. So black, they have to create a counterattack. We trade. She takes the knight. She gets the pawn back. And now here, Emily, her opponent, their last opportunity to castle was here, but they decided to develop. And now black is in a bind. They're in a problem that they can't get out of. The rook is keeping pressure on the bishop. This bishop is keeping pressure on the king, preventing the bishop from being protected. Black invites the bishop in. The rook has to move. Black, their castling opportunities are out the window. Bishop develops. Emily's ready to castle, which she does. And now here we see Emily takes a moment to defend the bishop with f4. We see the rook develop and activate, the knight coming back, which yields the d4 square for our rooks, now doubling. So now the knight's just completely pinned. Black is out of moves. They're pushing pawns, trying to take d5, but Emily has c4. She saves her bishop. a6. Emily plays king f2. This is honestly just a waiting move, letting black essentially self-destruct. After b5, Emily just solidifies with b3, and black now self-destructs. Rook a7, and Emily pounces on the finisher, rook to d8. So awesome game, great finish. Emily 3 out of 4, with more in store for tomorrow. So stay tuned. We're going to have an interview. We're going to get Emily on the phone. If you guys have any questions for her, let us know. I will try my best to get to them. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support, all the follows. Thank you, Charizard, for the follow. And thanks everyone who followed Emily's channel. Definitely appreciated. And we hope to see you back tomorrow. She's got 2 final rounds. And yeah, this game finishing, it's always nice to end on a checkmate. I know yesterday's game lasted over 70 moves that I watched. We ended 2 hours later than we did today. So nice to get a little bit of extra time. I'm going to go figure out what I want to do for dinner. I'm sure Emily's going to get something to eat, and she's going to rest up and try to conserve some energy, because she got the job done today in this round, but the battle is not over just yet. She's got 2 more games, so she's going to look to finish strong. She's got a positive score right now. Okay, here we go. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, how are you? You don't seem to. Are you
I just
feeling
feel
okay?
bad for
You
that.
feel bad for
Yeah.
your opponent?
Yeah.
That's very sweet
That's
of
the
you.
worst. I'm glad I won, but I don't feel good about it, to be honest.
Well, you should feel
But-
great how greatly you played. You played a dominant game. I mean, he had nothing to do. He was, as I described, a turtle on its back. Basically.
You and the turtles.
Oh, everything is related to turtles in some way.
Of
shape, or form.
course. Of course. Yeah, it was an interesting game. The opening was a little more aggressive than I like to play, but
Oh,
I don't know.
man.
I've seen
I
that.
mean, attacking his knight and then playing knight d5, giving up your e-pawn, that was very impressive stuff, Emily.
Okay, well, thank you.
Just to develop your
yeah.
knight f3 with tempo, he has to play like e6. You trade in the center. You get that dominant dark square bishop, right?
Yeah,
Completely
yeah,
uncontested. He can't castle.
Yeah, I had to go ask the arbiter of a question because I didn't know. I was considering, I forget which move. I was considering playing like bishop f6 or something, attacking the rook because I thought, but I was only if it
Mm.
meant he couldn't castle, but I wasn't sure if he could still castle. So I had to go ask the rules.
That's
And she's,
always yeah, what'd she say?
yeah, she said, yeah, he can as long as the king can go through it. So I didn't
Mm.
end up playing that. But yeah, anyway.
Well,
The other
so
move I was considering instead of like knight d5 was uh e6. Was it e6 or
yeah,
poaching the pawn? I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
It was like a
yeah,
pawn
yeah,
sacrifice, and so I was spending a lot of time like trying to balance or compare the two. Those were kind of the main
yeah.
lines I was considering, which maybe
Honest,
that wasn't good either.
no, E6 is like it's honestly a thematic idea.
Uh huh.
But the problem is that pawn does prevent you from playing knight d5, which would be really strong.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
that's the reason I didn't end up doing it.
but yeah, e6 in a lot of cases when their knight is on d7 and their pawn is still on e7, if you're able to play e6, that's very strong in a lot of lines. But it wasn't quite so good in this position. What you played was best. Knight d5,
Okay.
just immediately
Nice.
threatening c7, right? They take
Hmm.
the pawn defending, but now you just get so much more development than them. Knight f3, you trade, and we're getting gifted subs from Zernix to Emily Plays Chess. Thank you so much. 10 gifted.
Oh. Oh wow. Thank you. No, give him to Joe. He
No,
deserves
no.
it. He's doing the hard work here.
Emily's putting on the show, and also Uncle Esquire as well with the sub for 11
Oh, thank
months.
you. Wow. Huge.
And
Thank you
we're
so
getting
much.
a raid from Houseline. Everyone's
Oh,
coming
let's
in to
go.
congratulate you, Emily.
Dang. Oh
Everyone
gosh.
wants to see. So how did Emily do today? She won this game. You guys are tuning in a great time to get the recap and also hear Emily's thoughts. We were wondering what you were talking to the arbiter about, but that is really important to know that they can castle if their rook's under attack. It's only if the king can go through the squares or not. So the interesting thing though, Emily, I'm not sure if you
Oh no. Not
remember.
another illegal move.
No, 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 no. There was
Okay.
so there was a time where so they take your knight on d5 with their pawn,
Mhm.
and you take their
Mhm.
dark square bishop with your knight.
Mhm.
Um, you could have taken rook takes d5 like a move earlier, but you traded on d7 first. Do you remember you took
Ah,
on
okay.
d7 and they take back with their bishop?
C7. C7.
So your knight just took their dark square bishop. They took your pawn on e5. You take
Yes. Yeah.
their bishop with your knight,
Uh-huh.
and then they take your other knight on d5 with their e pawn.
Yes.
And then you could have taken that pawn with your rook, but you traded your knight for their knight on d7 first.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Wait,
it's not a
but
big deal, but it's a
okay.
subtlety.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wondered if there was a reason why you didn't take the pawn first and you traded knights first instead.
Uh, I don't know. I think to be honest, I don't think I thought too much about it. I just figured I was still like way ahead in develop, or like I just had the initiative and I felt like it was fine. So
Yeah.
I don't know that I spent too much time thinking about it,
It's
but
okay. There was one
yeah.
hypothesis that so first and foremost, your knight on e5 is hanging by their knight.
Mhm.
When you
Mhm.
take on d5, your rook defends that knight.
Mhm.
So we were wondering like maybe they'll attack your rook and then your rook has to go back. They could play a move like c6, like their pawn push attacks your rook.
Mhm.
And so then your rook can't defend your knight anymore. But if you just bring your rook back and then they take your knight, then you can checkmate them on d8.
Oh dang. No, I didn't even think about that. No,
That
that's
would
on
have
me.
been cool,
An
but
oversight.
no, it's okay. Um, so no, you trade first, which is fine. Then you take back on d5, so you get the pawn back, which is nice, and you're
Mhm.
ahead in development.
Mhm.
And that's really the last opportunity for them to castle. Instead, they develop their knight to c6.
Mhm.
And then you brought your rook back to d2, so maybe you were worried about like knight b4 from them or something. You're guarding like your c2
Yeah.
pawn. So that maybe was like
Yeah.
unnecessary,
I probably.
but they followed straight up with h6, so that allowed you to go into f6.
Mhm.
And they couldn't castle because their light square bishop was hanging by your rook on the d file. So they have to
Mhm.
move their rook, and now they're never castling kingside. I'm wondering when it was that you were considering bishop f6. Probably before taking the pawn, I guess. Maybe right now.
Bishop f6. Okay, where the bishop was
'Cause
like most of the game.
yeah,
When I was considering that.
when you asked the arbiter if attacking their rooks they could still castle,
Oh, well, I knew that. I don't know. I knew
it
that was
must
going to
have
happen
been
eventually.
here.
I
Yeah.
think I just but he like provoked it. But that was kind
Yeah.
of part of my plan.
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't do it sooner was because um I don't know
You
why.
needed to take back on d5, I think was your
Yeah.
thought
Yeah,
process.
yeah, yeah.
So, okay, and then bishop e2 was a very good move. You're just developing the bishop, getting ready to castle. There were other options as we were looking at, like bishop d3, bishop
Yeah.
c4, bishop to b5. How did you find bishop e2?
To be honest, it was just like process of elimination because like the whole point of that move, I think I took a long thing because I was trying to figure out where the bishop was going to be best. And I mean, I was looking at everything like g6, bishop g7, or bishop g2, whatever. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
Bishop g3, bishop g2. Okay, anyway, I was looking at like all of the possibilities, and I don't remember exactly why I played that. I felt like it was better, like it better challenged their light squared bishop. Maybe I don't really remember, but there was rhyme to it. I like went through every move basically and was like, I think this is the best. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, and
I could have been wrong.
that was a great place to be because you have bishop f3 available to you. Your bishop's not like going to be attacked by their bishop or traded. Like I wanted to go bishop c4, but then they could play bishop e6, and that would be really annoying because if you trade,
Hmm.
then they take back with the pawn, and their king can then go up to f7.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Uncle Esquire for gifting 10, and to Mystery Man
Dang.
starting up a hype train. So yeah, Zernix
Wow.
and Uncle Esquire, huge gifted.
Oh, dang. Thanks, guys. So nice. Thank you. Uncle Esquire, where are you? He usually plays these tournaments. But yeah, sad day.
Well, he's
in
tuning
Michigan.
in, watching, supporting you. So okay,
Oh.
bishop e2, I'm a big fan of because now you're ready to castle. They played
Yeah.
bishop e6, and then you castled, which is great. So now you've completed your development. You're opening up your rooks to double. They
Mhm.
played g5, and they're threatening to just play rook g6, right, attacking your dark square bishop, which is like
Yeah.
such an annoying piece. So here you played f4. I wondered if you were considering anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I considered like playing bishop h6 maybe. And then also like I think there was or no, that one didn't come till later. Sorry. It was like bishop. There was a way to challenge that square with the bishop.
Yeah.
And or like where the rook was gonna go. So what is that? C3? I don't know. Whatever. I did.
Bishop d3.
Yeah, bishop d3. But I thought that I was getting more activity like after the exchanges of just putting
Okay.
pressure on their f pawn, like
Got
if the
it.
exchanges were to
Yeah.
happen. And then if he ended up pushing, then I had whatever, like pushing the pawn, defending my bishop, attacking his bishop, and I think everything was fine then. But it could have been an oversight. I'm guessing there was something better
There
because you're
was
asking.
Yeah, so f4 is the second best move, which is still very good. Bishop d3, you're not only preventing the rook going to g6, but you're also threatening to play bishop h7, which actually traps the rook. You'd be winning an exchange at least.
Oh. Okay, so actually the reason I didn't do that was because it kind of like eliminated the pressure on the d file. That's why I felt like it
Yeah.
was hindering the activity. I didn't see the rook trapping.
Yeah,
or I
so
would've-
so bishop d3 does block your rook on the d file, so that makes a lot of sense. The thing though is
Yeah.
they can't really contest the d file still because your bishop controls d8. So they would have to
Oh
still
yeah, that's right.
give up like an exchange to even try to go to d8. But
Yeah.
honestly,
Okay.
playing for bishop h7, it might win you an exchange, but then it would cost you a bishop, which your bishops were so good. We were saying like your dark square bishop especially is so valuable, it might not be worth giving it up for a rook.
Yeah.
So f4 made a lot
Yeah.
of sense.
I even was thinking he would maybe like try and stack the exchange at some point for it, and
Yeah.
I didn't want that. Well, I don't know if it like I was just thinking maybe down the road.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
like a
know. Maybe.
win-win. So okay, but you get to lift your rook, and then they played knight back to e7, and that allowed you to double your rooks on the d file, and that was really strong. They played c6, and you played c4. Again, the best move. You're just taking away any d5 outposts from them, right? You're just really keeping them under lock and key. You're like
Yeah.
really constricting them.
Hmm.
You're like a snake, right? Squeezing, every ounce out of this position, and they had nothing to do. It was very impressive. You just bring your bishop
Yeah.
back, right? They played rook g6 because they had nothing else. You just bring the bishop back,
Right.
and they still have like their knights completely penned. They just push a6, right? They have nothing left.
Yeah.
Did you consider bishop h5 attacking their rook?
Yes, I did. It just seemed like unclear. I just figured I felt like the bishop just had more activity, and after the rook moved, I didn't really see. Like I thought maybe I could play like rook f3 or whatever, like and like try and attack on that
Yeah.
like that f pawn. But I don't know. I didn't really see anything concrete from it, which is why I didn't end up doing that. But I looked at it.
Yeah, so bishop h5, you're just attacking the rook. The rook has to go back, but the important thing is you're also pinning their f pawn to their king. So then their bishop on e6 becomes weak. But there's still like a lot of moves before you could actually like concretely win material. But bishop
Yeah.
h5 was the top move. This is where you played king f2, and I'm not sure if you quite knew what you were doing, but you were just kind of waiting, right?
Well, I thought like at this point, I felt like their bishop was their best piece for sure, and I was like trying to figure out how I could get rid of the bishop and then like infiltrate on the 7th rank or whatever. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I think if I move the king, then I can maybe play like h3
Yeah,
and then try
yeah.
and trade like or at some point, just eliminating the pin so that I have the ability to maybe like maneuver the bishop over there. I don't know if I was like planning on doing that immediately, but I felt like it was a flexible move. They didn't really have a way to like, it was kind of a waiting move, but that was like
Got it.
long-term plan sort of. I don't
Yeah.
know.
What's crazy is it's really good you were thinking of h3, but you could have played so bishop h5 first, rook back to like g8 or whatever, and then you could play h3 then, and they could take on h3 with their bishop, but then you play rook e4 and you're just winning. Like they can't defend their knights penned.
Yeah, I was looking at that too. I was like, if this bishop, I saw that there was maybe tactics with the knight being pinned
Yeah.
to the king after the bishop moved, but I don't know. I kind of felt like I don't know. I wanted to avoid like any kind of tactical. I just felt like I had the positional advantage, so I was just kind of trying to take like a more slow kind of like methodical approach, so to speak. But objectively, maybe not the best.
No, but
I don't know.
it really played into this constrictive style where your opponent at no other really positive forward-making moves, they just played b5, you played b3, and that's when they crumbled. They played their blunder, rook a7, and you looked it over a few times. I saw you were like, is he really just blunder making one? And then you played it. It was great.
Yeah, well, glad we saw that. But yeah, when he played that, I was like, well, what? Am
Yeah,
I
you're
missing
like, am I
something?
missing? Yeah, yeah.
Because I feel like I feel like he had good plans. I don't know, like he was in a tough spot, but I feel like he played decently well. I mean, given the situation, I could be
Given
wrong,
how
but
dominant your performance was,
no, thank you.
I mean, yeah,
How
he
kind.
really didn't have any you gave him nothing, Emily.
Yeah.
Y-
Yep.
You
Oh, that was the
you
goal.
were in the driver's seat that whole game, and
Yeah.
it ended poorly for him. So, that was really fun to watch. You're 2 for 2 with the white pieces. So
Yeah.
is that all the prep working out for you? I was thinking you'd maybe stick with the Joe Bava London today, but you really were able to take advantage of his fianchetto with E4 and D4 together, which I liked.
Yeah. 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 I don't know. We'll see how tomorrow goes. But yeah, the game this morning was rough. So glad we could end on the win at least.
Yeah. Do you feel like your prep and all the work that you've put in is paying off? Do you feel like you're playing well?
I can't really say I like did much prep for this tournament, but I definitely did before the Realton Cup, and then that was like I think I did fairly well there, and so it gave me like I'm kind of just riding the coattails of whatever I did leading up to that. So, but yeah, I mean I feel like I'm playing better. So, using my time, as you guys have noticed, I think that's actually been the biggest thing because usually or previously I was finishing with like an hour on the clock, and now it's not the case. So yeah,
Yeah,
trying to get the wheels turning a little more is all.
that's awesome. Well, we're witnessing greatness. Every
Oh,
game, it feels like you're doing really well, and um, I'm honored to have been here and to see it
oh,
live.
thank you. That is so kind. Well, we are honored to have you commentating. So thank you for being here. Thanks for doing what you do.
Well, thanks for having me, and everyone else is thankful to watch your games, and we're all looking forward to tomorrow. So you've got 2 more games left. Are they at the
Yes.
same time?
First game is at 10 and the second is at 3, I believe. So it's like a little earlier.
Awesome. And do you know
Yeah.
who will be commentating?
Yes. Cole Louis. I think that's how you say it. He commentated for me in Realton. Yeah, cool dude.
And he's doing both.
Yeah. Well, I have to confirm with him.
Got it.
I think so.
So
I haven't talked to him actually. So
stay
other
tuned to
other
find
than like
out.
several weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. But I think that's who's doing it. So. But yeah, either way, I'll be here. I'll be playing. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Joe, thanks again for the commentary, and yeah, thanks everyone for watching.
Yes, awesome. And stick around for the raid. And yeah, Emily, hope you can get some rest and maybe probably some food and get
Yeah.
energy for tomorrow because you're gonna need it. You're gonna finish strong.
Let's hope. All right, cool. Well, thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Thanks, Emily. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the one and only Emily Plays Chess finishing today with 3 out of 4 and 2 games remaining tomorrow. So please be sure to tune in and see what happens, how she's going to finish. But that's it for today. We're going to find someone to raid. So let's see who's live. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Who's on right now? Ooh. I think I know who I'm gonna raid. I'm gonna raid Uncle Jesse. What's up, Bishop? Someone also, by the way, I don't know if you're still in the chat. Someone asked when my next over the board tournament is. I don't have one planned, but very likely I'll be in Vegas for National Open, which is in June. So it's going to be a while for Classical at least, but maybe I'll play a little bit in St. Louis. They have a weekly Rapid and Blitz every Friday and Saturday. But it's not really Classical, so I don't know if that counts. But anyways, thank you all for the compliments and all the subs and the follows, and hopefully we can go spread some love and positivity to Uncle Jesse. She's great. So please stick around for the raid, and we'll see you all over there. Take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of your weekend, and have a good night. Bye.